So, I've talked about the financial concentration of power in London. There's a second concentration of power, which is governance, if you like, or misgovernance. And governance is concentrated in Whitehall massively. You probably don't realise, but Britain, and especially England, is the most centralised country in the Western world. I mean, it's phenomenally centralised. It's of the same order of magnitude as Eastern Europe in the time of the communists, right? Totally centralised power. And as Andy Burnham, the mayor of Manchester, recently said, they're really, in terms of governance, there are about 50 people running the country. And they're pretty much all in the Treasury. And so immense amount of concentration of power in the Treasury. Since it's bound to fail, it does fail repeatedly. And so then what does the Treasury do? They've got to diagnose why is everything going wrong. And they have diagnosed it, right? The reality, the proper diagnosis will be to say that we've got a massively over-centralised, blundering bureaucracy. Their diagnosis is that they need to take back control. They need to have more scrutiny, more concentrated power. And so over the last 5 years, staffing in Whitehall has increased by 25%. Now, the last 5 years haven't been great for the British economy. Right? In fact, they've been, a technical term is shit. Right? So try and think of occupations which have increased their employment by 25% over the last 5 years, apart from Whitehall. Right? I can only think of one, Joe. Funeral directors. That's been a booming sector because life expectancy in poor places is falling, and COVID helped things along a lot. So,
and there's a corresponding lack of productivity growth since COVID that's corresponded with that increase in size. We're still not at the same level of productivity in the civil services before the pandemic, right?
No, that is unfortunately true, including the sectors it manages, like health. Right? We now know that, for example, some things we can measure, like the number of operations performed by surgeons per surgeon, is down over the last 5 years 12%. Right? I think that's quite a lot of operations that aren't happening.
Absolutely, yeah.
Why? Because we've got such a dysfunctional bureaucracy, way, way too highly centralised.